Hey there, Super Ladies. Super Jen here with Supermom's Guide to Mindset. Today we are embracing opportunities, and we're going to talk to a very special Supermom who is a divorce coach, which unfortunately many of us have had to go through this tough experience. But there's a bright side to the divorce life situation, that it happens to the best of us sometimes. So how can you embrace the opportunities around you? So I've got 3 steps to share with you today on embracing opportunities as they fall in your lap. So step number 1 is going to be to know who you are. If you don't know who you are, how can you figure out what you stand for or what things are right for you and right for your life? If you don't know who you are, how do you know if you're supposed to be traveling to Africa to save the hungry children or staying at home to feed your hungry children, right? So take the time to really dig deep into figuring out who you are at your core. When you strip off the mom, when you strip off the employee or the whatever label you might have on you, who are you in your heart? Now, step 2 is going to be know what you want. So if you know who you are, knowing what you want is the next step. What are your goals? Long-term, short-term, it doesn't matter. What are you aiming for in your life? A life with no purpose is a pretty sad life indeed. And number 3, know what you're worth. Many of us will complain about money or not having enough freedom to do the things we want, but are you allowing people in your life or employers, or if you're in business by yourself, maybe potential clients, to tell you that you're not worth what you believe that you're worth? You have to know at your core that you have value. Your life experience, your skills, your talents, your gifts, they all add massive value to this world. So those are just 3 simple steps to really embrace the opportunities that might come your way, or at least prepare you mentally to embrace those opportunities as they arise. I want to introduce you now to a new friend of mine. Her name is Jenny, and she is a divorce coach. She is a great example of how embracing the opportunities that come your way and owning who you are can really impact your life. So listen to this interview and a little bit about yourself, what led you to becoming a divorce coach and what exactly does that mean?
Sure. So my name's Jenny Britt, and I am coming to you from Long Island, New York, which is right outside New York City. And it's a pretty ritzy area. It doesn't mean everyone's fancy, but it's as you can see, when I turn the iPad around, there's quite a few sailboats out here in my area. It's a beautiful area to live. Expensive. Expensive place to get divorced.
Okay.
So I married very young. I married at 21, turning 22. And not probably a great decision on my part, but I have 2 beautiful children to show for it.
Awesome.
And how I came to divorce coaching really was through my own divorce. My former husband, and I'm sure to call him my former, not my ex. I just think it has a more positive connotation, and I'll tell you, judges prefer it.
Okay.
His entire family were attorneys. They are attorneys. And so it was a long divorce. I had a number of different attorneys, and through the process, over probably 10 years, I developed a lot of knowledge that really was able to help people. And so that's what I started doing for free. I started doing that for friends, neighbors, friends of friends, coworkers. I actually have a master's in education, so I feel like I am able to get my point across to a lot of different people, a lot of different learning styles.
Okay.
And so, there are some lessons I learned that I think I wanted to get across to other people. They were just sitting in my head, and I wanted to really share them. And actually, my last attorney, who I call a pit bull, I love pit bulls, but they have a reputation for being pretty tough animals. That's exactly how he was. He was a tough animal, and a real killer instinct. And I know that that's not very popular. Everyone wants to have these, like, what my grandfather used to call a friendly divorce, but that's not always possible.
Sure.
So through this attorney, he suggested to me, hey, I have these clients that are driving me crazy, and would you consider ever speaking to them before they even get to me?
Interesting.
He charged a ton per hour, right? I wouldn't. And in fact, did it for free for a long time. And he said, like, just straighten them out, straighten out their mindset. That's how he put it. So that's what I did. And through that, I decided to get, because I was considering myself a divorce coach, as a trained teacher who has a master's, I felt, well, I need the proper education, because I didn't feel like I had that, although really I probably had everything I needed. And so I went to IIN, which is the Institute for Integrative Nutrition.
Okay.
Sounds funny, but actually it gave me everything I needed. So I had my coaching certificate, I got the coaching practice. And in addition to that, something that's really important in getting through a divorce is self-care. So I learned a lot about nutrition, self-care. I learned the word self-care. It wasn't even something that was on my radar, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
So yeah. Did I answer your question? I just riffed. I just went on a major.
That's all right. I
just went on a riff.
I have my daughter in the corner.
Aw.
She's staring at me. We're having a girl time today. But yeah, no, that's awesome. I totally can relate to your story, and I think a lot of other women can too. I too got married really early. And maybe wasn't the best choice as I've grown up. We, grew up differently, I like to say, but 2 amazing kids. And it really is funny that you mentioned, even with in your business and the services, they're so valuable and they're so important, and we don't even realize that they exist until you get into the situation.
Correct.
How do you sort of fight that feeling that we get, I think, sometimes as women and as entrepreneurs, that fear of, selling yourself or worrying that it's too expensive? How do you offset that in your own mindset?
Well, I do a lot of work around that, a lot of internal work. And I think a lot of women that are entrepreneurs do this. There's 2 women who I consider mentors, whether they know it or not. One is Gabby Bernstein.
Yes.
And the other is Amanda Francis. There's a few of them who talk a lot about the internal work of not being afraid to charge, because if I can live well, I can serve more.
That's awesome.
And I want to give them credit, because although I'm probably botching their words, that's where it comes from. And yeah, I do the internal work, and I just, you have to feel confident in yourself. I think practice, I think working for free for many years, and just kind of honing my craft and my coaching and how I relate to women. And then the funny realization that actually many men have found their way into my coaching practice. Although I felt my sort of ideal client was female, that wasn't always the case. So that was kind of funny. Meanwhile, someone just jogged past me. How funny. So,
gotta love a little live stream.
Yes, I love a live stream. And you know what? Also sort of like understanding that I'm not for everyone. I have, a quirky personality. I have weird things about me. Like I only wear dresses. That's probably something I should investigate.
We're like 2 from the same cloth here. You never will catch me in pants, ever.
It's really weird. I have, So, yeah. And so I also had other influencers. There's a woman who I actually knew, personally, not through the online world. And when I was first considering leaving my husband at a young age, I think I was about 26, I found her book in Barnes & Noble, and her name is Dr. Leah Klungness.
Okay.
And turns out she was from my area, and I wound up seeing her actually as, you know, a sort of like a therapist, a business coach, all kinds of things I used her for. And she wasn't your typical therapist. Wonderful, wonderful woman. She wrote the book, The Complete Guide to the Single Mother.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember seeing it on her shelf one day, and I said, "Oh my God, I can't believe you have this book. It's such a great book." Turns out she's the author.
Wow.
And she has since moved to the Carolinas, but wonderful woman. She was a huge influence on me as well. But yeah, you asked me earlier in your email about a turning point, and I think around the age, I guess it was about 25, 26, my mother passed away at quite a young age, 49. And I thought to myself, I'm actually not quite happy with how I'm living right now, and I need to really reevaluate. I think it's something we need to do every few years. And by the way, I'm not pro-divorce by any stretch of the imagination. And the more coaching I do, the harder I see these divorces are on women and men. And, you know, one of my first few sessions is always like, can this be worked out? Is this just sort of like a plateau, and then you'll move into like a different phase of your marriage?
Sure.
So, you know, I know a lot of my more religious friends or clients like to hear that, because it's not all about like, let's get you out of there. Totally. If that makes sense.
It absolutely does. That's awesome. I love that how you stated that, you know, when we're ready for those mentors and those people, they just sort of appear. You know, the book was magically there, and she just happened to be close by, and all of those things. It really is one of those, the more you learn to look for it, the more they magically show up, right? And
it's so true.
And it's just so vital. And I feel like a lot of women, especially moms, don't always take the time for, you know, to pay attention to those signs or pay attention to their own needs. And so that's one of the things that we really strive for at Searching for Superpower, is to just, you know, realize that the better you are at being you, and the more you know yourself, the better you can be for everybody else.
Yeah.
Well,
100%. And a couple of things that I would just like to add, as far as, you know, if there's anyone watching that is going through a separation or divorce, or just even a difficult change in their life, is to have positive people around you. If you have someone close to you, whether it's a coworker, a family member, a friend, that's a bit of a Debbie Downer, you know, from Saturday Night Live, you know, you don't have to get rid of them or even be obvious about it, but maybe little by little start spending less time with them and start spending time with people who make you feel good. It's not a crime. It's not, you're not a terrible person to do that. And start surrounding yourself with a positive network of 2 to 3 people who you can trust, whether it's a friend or a coach, or, you know, I certainly don't recommend using your children, which is a common mistake. As much as you want to share with them and you think they're your best friends, not a good idea, especially long term. If you're going to go through a divorce. And then keep positive materials around. And what I mean by that is positive books, positive movies. You know, it's not time to go see like something depressing like Manchester by the Sea, although I love Jennifer Williams. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the time to do that. Like, keep positive things in front of you, whether it's listening to, and I'm a Jewish girl meanwhile, but like Joel Osteen on the radio when you're driving to work, or it's reading, you know, Gabby Bernstein, or whatever you find that's uplifting. That's the time. This is the time to do that and keep your mindset positive.
That's awesome.
You asked me what my superpower is, and I actually wrote down a couple of things, but what I came up with, which I think is so funny, is this same pitfall attorney that I just love, and was really life-changing for me meeting him, because it led to my practice, is that I am positive almost to a fault. I'm very optimistic. And my son calls it magical thinking, which is so funny. And he's actually not being nice when he says that. But my attorney, he actually thought it was a disability, which is so funny, because he was complete opposite. He was the one who was negative. He was the one who worried. And you know what? That's what I paid him for. You pay your attorney to do the worrying, to do the stressing. Your job is to keep strong. And so my superpower is just optimism. And this is, again, from, you know, these wonderful coaches that I've had, like Megan Lockhart and some of Amanda Francis' courses, that even when you don't think it's going to happen, just keep believing.
Mm-hmm.
Manifest
So
these good things in your life.
So important. Well, thank you so much for hopping on here. I love your positive energy and your quirkiness, as you call it. I think it's amazing how you just own who you are. And that truly is powerful, and that you're able to just really share your gifts and your talents and your experience with other women and men, it sounds like. So if anyone's interested in going through or getting in touch with you, where can they go and find more information about your coaching services?
Sure. So on Facebook, I'm at Gold Coast Coach. And that's actually by design, although that's not my company's name. It's close. I find that people view divorce as almost like leprosy. They don't want to go near it. They don't want their friends to see they're liking the page, etc. And my company is goldcoastdivorcecoach.com.
Okay.
So they can find me over there, and I'm always happy to do free coaching sessions. I'm really just about, helping as many people as I can. As I blow away here, I'm actually blowing away.
Well, don't blow away. Don't blow away. But thank you again so much for being on here.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch again here. She's so inspiring. I love being able to talk to other women who are doing amazing things and really just following their intuition. They're not afraid to show who they are, embrace things as they come their way, and truly own and live out of survival mode. So just to recap real quick, we talked about embracing opportunities today. Step 1 was to know who you are. If you don't know who you are, nobody else is going to know either. Take the time to figure it out. Step 2 is to know what you want. If you don't know what you want, how do you know which opportunities to take advantage of? And then number 3 is to know what you're worth. If you don't know what you're worth and you don't own your value, no one else is going to respect you for it. If you like this video, please like it below and share it out with your friends. And if you're on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're on my Searching for Superpower page, just hit the little button up top and like it so that you don't miss any episodes of the Supermoms Guide 2. Now, in true Super Jen fashion, I want to give you a little present. So I'm going to post below a tool that I use and my clients use to really set themselves up for a powerful day each and every day. I call it a dig sheet. It's a daily intention guide. And basically, you hear everybody talking about journaling or writing your goals and yada yada and morning routines, but where do you start? So this is stealing my morning routine. It's the thing that has gotten me from a depressed divorcee that didn't have a lot of income coming in to a thriving supermom who is owning who she is and really been able to impact ladies like you. So I'm so excited to share this with you. I think it's going to be amazingly helpful, and I'll post the link below. It's totally free, just my special gift to you. So don't hesitate on that. And I just want to encourage you today, keep searching. You are amazing. You are beautiful. Empower yourself, empower other women like you. And I'll talk to you next week. Bye now.